So, so apparently there's something to just speaking to what I want to have happen, I guess. And it works out for me. Because yesterday I was talking about the dread of having to deal with family 3 days in a row and how I needed to make sure to have my boundaries ready and in place and firm so my family, doesn't have any luck against them. So what ended up happening was last night, my mom was going to come over to my brother's house with me again. And when I was getting ready to head this way, she was getting ready to wrap my cousin's baby shower gift and says, "Did you want me to go?" And I said, "I do not care. Do you want to go?" And then she didn't make any moves one way or another, so she she didn't end up going. I was just like, "I'm just getting ready to leave, so you need to decide if that's going to happen or not." And she just didn't end up going at all. It's like, okay, I'll take it. And then this morning, okay, so she mentioned last night that there were cookies that she had ordered from this little specialty place in town. Thank you. And I really don't need you in my mouth. That's too much. Okay, thank you. I got the foot again. Yeah, so she said she had cookies at this place to pick up today around noon or whenever. And she was supposed to have a doctor's appointment this morning. Apparently that got canceled, but then she just forgot all about the cookies. But I didn't forget about the cookies because it sounded last night like my assistance was needed in picking them up since she had an appointment, right? And of course her doctor's the one where she had a 10 o'clock appointment, so she was going to be looking at calling before she went around noon or whatever, but they ended up calling her at 9 and canceling the appointment, so no biggie. Excuse me. And so I went, okay, the big thing was I had to call her before I left the house because I had to figure out where she was at because I forgot to get the garage door opener for my brother's house out of that car. And so I had to figure out where she was at, and I was hoping she was not in Greenfield already because I really don't want to go that far to have to get this thing. But luckily she was at my grandma's house, and I said something, or she said she was working on a password for something, and I asked her about the cookies, and she was like, "Oh, I forgot all about the cookies." And it's like, okay, so I was planning on getting them anyway. Do you want me to just pick them up and then I'll drop them off with you when I come to get the garage door opener? And then she's like, "That would be great." All right, fine, right? So I go and I get the cookies from this place and take them over to her at my grandma's house. And I go in and I'm talking to my mom and my aunt. My grandma's in her chair in the other room, which, that's her usual spot, but she could go into the other room, but she saw me there. She didn't choose to either, so it's like, whatever. But my mom said that she had asked her if I would be willing to, or if she thought I would be willing to take down the wallpaper border that's like 1 billion years old, that's around the hallway area. It's like, yeah, that's fine. Whatever. And she's like, "Well, you might go mention it to her because she asked." It's like, all right, we'll go in there. And it's like, there's no time for that, right? Immediately when I get in there, it's like, I say, "How's it going?" And she acknowledged it. And then she said something about, or I think I said I had to come over here to check on Wayne's dogs. And she said, "When are they supposed to be back?" And I said, "Next week." And she starts in on, "They're keeping that kid out of school for 2 weeks. Is she going to be able to go on to the next grade?" And blah, blah, blah. So I was like, I said, "Not my kid, not my problem. I trust her parents have the sense in their heads to be aware of any concerns with the school, educational things. That's their department, not mine, right? And I kind of shut them down or shut her down on that, and then was like walking out of the room, and my mom starts to come in and says something about it as well, and I focused on that point again. I said, not my kid, not my problem. I trust that they have brains in their head, even though none of you want to think that they do. I said, so that's not on me. And I'm pretty sure their school communicates with, or her school communicates with the parents anyway, right? So if there was a concern on any of that issue or whatever, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to hear about it and handle it. So, yeah. But that would be against the family's obsess over everything and treat everybody like they're too stupid to have any awareness of anything happening, right? Yeah. But anyway, I took that opportunity as the prime time to exit. And right as I think right before I went in there to talk to my grandma, my mom asked if I wanted to go to Sam's Club with her or if I wanted her to go ahead and go on without me, because I said I was coming over here for a couple hours. And I said, I do not care. I said, if you want me to go with you, then wait until after I'm done with the dogs. I said, if you do not want me to go with you, then go ahead and go. It's perfectly fine. I don't care. So there's a really good chance that, especially since I shut them down about letting my brother and sister-in-law have their lives and their brains in their heads, that I might not get invited now. Which is okay. I am perfectly okay with that. Now, I think I'm stuck tomorrow, but I'll make it work. But yeah, that's the big thing. It's like, I was more productive yesterday than I thought I would be, so that is exciting. I mentioned on my video yesterday that my big task the day before I had gotten the bird cage and no. Did I paint? I might have painted that the day I got it. Painted the tray. I don't know. Anyway, the big task yesterday was cleaning the bird cage. That did happen, but I didn't just stop myself there as I had figured I probably would. I went ahead and was like moving stuff over to, I got the cage put back together and started moving some stuff from the old cage. Went ahead and put the birds in the shower for a little bit and give them time in the water. They love their shower time. And then it's like that cage was good. Like there was no paint fuminess or anything. So it's like, screw it. We're gonna roll with it. Right. And I don't cover them, and well, most of the time I don't cover them. The only time I really cover their cage here lately is if I'm still in there late of an evening and they start getting really chatty when it's like time for bed. Then I will cover them and push them in that way. Otherwise, I I don't use my lamps. Well, I mean, I have one that I'll kind of have on, but it's like Halloween lighting, strip lights and whatnot. Like strip lights on the desk and the DVD player or DVD rack. Not like lights to strip by, but I mean, they could be, I guess. But that was not what I was, yeah. Anyway, who cares? Irrelevant. Got this dog in my face again. We're very close. I don't know if you can tell. We're just always this close. It's like, we don't have to be all up in each other's business though, but here we are. Oh, so yes. I really hope that picked up on the camera because she definitely got that close and belched in my face. A little rude butt. Yes, so today's task, regardless of how the Sam stuff goes, So, I mean, the big thing, like, I thought about starting the cleaning of the other cage yesterday, but then I was like, I'm pretty sure I want to take a shower in the morning, so I don't want to do, I can't do that if I'm going to have a tub full of bird stuff. And so I withheld withheld that effort. And that's today's task, is I will be moving some of the stuff that I just have, like toys and, yeah, probably the cage. I can put the bottom rack in there. And the plastic things that can go in there. But I'm just going to start cleaning everything. And then I got to get the cage together enough to take pictures so I can get it posted. But yeah. And that other cage, it's like a third of the size of the big cage. So it's like, you know what? This is plenty. They might not think so, since they were previously able to fly all the way across the big cage. But yeah, well, it'll be all right. I'll just have to have them out occasionally, which I do that periodically anyway. As long as the dogs aren't in the room, which the dogs really... That's the big thing, is they're super clingy, especially now that I've been over here with since we've had so much time with other dogs lately. The Corgi, the Schnoodle, and the Basset. Yeah. Thank you. Dogs are weird, man. I love them immensely, but they're weird. Yep, here we go again. Kick the toy out the door. She was just looking at. So it's like 29, I think, is the high today. It's like, technically that is skatable, but still not ideal. I don't think my hands really want to... I got like all these sore spots on them from dryness in the weather and everything. I don't think I really want to skate, but not in the cold still. I mean, it's 10 degrees warmer than yesterday, yes, but tomorrow will be better. It'll still be 34, but above freezing, so that's a bonus. I like to not freeze my ass off. And it's one of those things, it's like when I do skate, when it's really cold and I get sweaty, and then, that was really weird, dog. I get sweaty and then just like don't get home and in the shower quick enough. And it's like I get to that point where it feels like I need to thaw out or something. What? They're ready to play. I'm not ready to play. They're always ready to play. But they got their bellies full and they're happy on that end. Yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen. I might skate tomorrow anyway. I gotta figure out what time this thing is. I think it's supposed to be at like 2:30? 2:30? I don't know. But depending on that whole thing, I might skate in the morning, because that would be a great way of, making sure that boundary is good and established before I hang out with people I know talk like they do. Yeah. The next day, I think Tuesday is supposed to be the high next week. So far, this is what my app says. It's supposed to be like 51 that day. So skating is coming back. And I am more than ready for that to happen and be a regular thing again. And walking the dogs outside. Feel kind of bad that these guys haven't gotten that much opportunity, but if it warms up like that before their people get back, then we will go on some walks. But yeah. So yesterday I mentioned, yesterday I was rewatching my video that I did, and I was talking about the number 19, right, and how it's the connectedness of all things and whatnot, and randomly I caught myself in the video, I was talking about 19s and said it many times, and yet somehow when I was talking about the flower of life, I goofed and said 14. It's like, yeah, that's not right. I was like, did I really do that? I did that. Oh well. But then when I was thinking about it, because I mentioned that there's another birth date on the 19th, and that, that my great-grandparents, who were like the grandparents that I was close to when I was growing up, since the others were not around until I was 8, and then all hell broke loose, right? So I was thinking, it's like, I'm pretty sure I also saw back at Mary Jane's celebration of life in January that she had passed away on November 19th. It's like, I am pretty confident of that, actually. So, yeah, there's another one. It's like 19s are important, right? And I had mentioned back in January that when we had gotten Ziva, she was about 3 months old. And it's like, okay, so she's about 3 months old. Let's put it, at this week from like January 15th to January 19th or whatever. And we were going to pick a date, right? And somehow I got all jacked up on it. Probably just because the universe can make me do and say whatever it wants me to along the line. And I've figured that out, and it's definitely changed how I see things. And I talked about my one piercing that I thought I lost the back of, just to realize that it snapped on there, and it couldn't have done that. But that wasn't what I saw. That wasn't what my mom saw either. We both saw like the threaded end without anything on it, and then that's not even what it was. So, yeah, and I found that out when I got to the place. So, yeah. So that was what made me really realize that the universe is in control of this show. I'm just along for the ride. That's why it's of greatest benefit to stay in the now, right? Because then if you get trapped in the past or trapped in the future, then you miss all the little magical things that happen along the way now, in the present moment. The Bassett's eating her toy's ear. I just see the back of her head, but it's just kind of in this motion. Yeah, it always entertains me when the little short-legged ones go under the long-legged ones, just straight under. The corgi kept doing that to mine the other day. And yeah, I've seen them do it to others too. It's all good. Anyway, I don't really have a whole lot of thoughts on today's video and what I wanted to talk about. I just know I was all excited when, that I realized I could just kind of speak to something and then it kind of adjusts itself. It's like, all right, I'll take it. So I don't know if I'm going to Sam's Club or not, but it's not going to hurt my feelings if I don't. It wasn't going to hurt my feelings if I didn't anyway. It would basically just most likely be me having to fill the gas tank afterwards anyway. But yeah. So I was watching a Kino tarot reading yesterday where she was talking about taking things one step at a time, no, it was doing the bare minimum. And I feel like that's kind of where I'm at right now, just in learning to trust the universe and that everything is divinely guided and all that fun stuff. Because, that's how I started moving on this idea for this room and office trade up, and at the rate I'm going, my brother will be able to help me rather than my dad, because I really haven't wanted to ask my dad for assistance, because then I'll just have to listen to him bitch about it the whole time. My brother might bitch about it, but we're also gonna talk about other stuff and joke around about other stuff too. So I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, he's, well, put my leg down and the basset had her head in the way. So sorry, use my leg as a pillow. Yeah, or just belch in my face. No, so I don't remember what my brother and I were talking about, but he's always his humor has been his big go-to thing. And I don't remember the context or what the conversation was, but I remember at one point I said something to him about humor as a means of coping with, like the stuff growing up and whatnot. And he's like, oh yeah, he said that the therapist of that group that he was involved in mentioned that a couple times too, and said that he used to do that as well. So it's like, yeah, well, I mean, it makes sense that people with trauma some of them end up kind of funny. And I think the more humorous types are able to do that because, it's, I guess, tension alleviating thing if you can kind of deflect with humor. And so like that was always something my brother was pretty good at. It's like my grandpa had his funny moments, and like I think that's why the people that liked him I think that was like very much one of the things that they liked about him was his humor. But it's like it just got, I didn't see much I saw the humor, but I also appreciated the times that I could say something before he could come back with a response or with the joke he had set up, and he just sit there dumbfounded because it's like, wait a second. Whatever. But it's like there weren't enough of those moments. In spite of all the other ones, it was like being overrun with this idea of, look at all the ways you don't fit in this family. So then, you miss out on some of the other stuff when that's the focus. But it is what it is, right? What? You could just sit there and it would be okay. She's just doing the same thing you were. I threw the toy and now Buttercup has it. Because obviously we have to have the same toy. We can't. Yeah, we can't have multiple toys. There are multiple toys in here, but they have to have the same one. And I see what they're doing. They're trying to eat the unicorn's horn off of its head. Because it's nice and squishy now. Yeah. Throw it to somebody else to come back with it. But yeah, she's talking about doing the bare minimum right now and just kind of being present in the moment, right? So I didn't get all the way through that reading. For some damn reason, okay, I've never had a problem with YouTube playing a video all the way through while I'm watching it, right? But all at once last night, that video, especially, it's like it started going dim and then it started shutting off. It's like my phone was going to sleep. It's like, this has never been an issue when I've been on YouTube watching a video. Why is it now an issue? I don't get that. Don't like that. Haven't had a chance to see if it's any other videos or just specifically that one. Maybe I'll watch the rest of that one and it won't be a problem today. Who knows? Yeah. I really don't want it. Just dropped it on my foot. Yeah, so today's big task is the bird cage, or the old bird cage. Getting it cleaned up and ready to take pictures of it. And I am just going to lump in all the stuff. I have a ton of bird toys and whatnot in there. And there's a bunch of stuff that's been bagged up for a while that I just haven't gotten out. So I'm going to keep the bare minimums on this stuff that I do hang on to, because there's so much of it that's just down there collecting dust and bird feathers from being under the cage. It's like, I don't need that in my life anymore. Just, it can go. I know at this point I'm not going to get any more birds. I feel like that. I enjoy the two that I got have always been two of my favorites. But when they're gone, they're gone. I love them, and I'm not in a hurry for them to go. But yeah, I'm just kind of, my days of tending a zoo are kind of over with, I think. And yeah, thus the purging of things and decluttering. That's the big theme too. And yeah, and I feel like, like I talked about the other day, like everything that's happening, it's like there's layers of what's going on right now. So yeah, the one video was talking about doing the bare minimum, and that's what's being asked of you at the moment. Well, I mean, partly because I've always tried to jam as much as possible into my life to, I guess, overcompensate for what I felt like I was lacking in the world, and like not doing enough for people, because that was my experience, right? So it's like you pour your entire life force out for somebody, or like for a group of people, and they don't ever reciprocate, and you just end up completely drained. It's just, when people don't appreciate what you have been doing, then it's you don't get anything back. It's not an equal exchange, right? So I feel like that's kind of where I'm at now, and that, like, the whole bare minimum thing is just specifically for me to learn to trust the universe, take things one step at a time, and be in the moment, even this moment. And yeah, but it's like there's different layers of it that are working together, because I'll have something come up with a random idea that I start doing, like, that is really annoying, dude. So the random idea was switching the office and the bedroom, right? But then that led into this big project of all these different things that I have to do to make that happen. And the fact that I don't want to ask my dad, so I was hoping to delay on it a little bit and have my brother help me out instead of having to ask my father. And yeah, so I don't know if I can. I'm using the chair to prop my phone, as long as they don't bump it, knocking my phone over, I guess. But yeah, it's like the one idea led to the series of other ideas. But the big thing that spurred it on, that made me get to the point where it's like, okay, this has to happen, was, then like the freaking breaker went out, because we had a couple different space heaters pulling at the circuit or whatever, and it blew the thing. So, that had to get fixed. But then all this other stuff started to open up. Like, then I started looking at bird cages, and then I found one I liked and went after it. And then it's also, don't lick my belly. What the hell, man? Okay. Pull this here chair as a desk closer to me. Clearly it doesn't bring less dogs. Anyway. Oh, not on the speaker, damn it. So I'll just hold my phone, I guess, as long as I can stop shaking it. I don't know. No promises. So I got the bird cage. Then I started thinking about painting this thing on it too, which is another artsy project, and art always, art makes me happy. And again, getting chaos out of my system, that's always helpful. But yeah, I think this dog is just staring at me through the chair because it's like got this holy fabric. It's one of these. Yeah. So she's just on the other side of it looking at me, I think. But yeah, now I got the new cage set up, and now I'm making moves on the old cage so I can get it out of my space and get more stuff cleared clutter-wise. And then that'll help me have more ideas on the writing end of things and being creative in that way. So it's like literally just following the steps along the way to get me where I'm meant to be. Yeah. That's okay. Thank you. Thank you. That's enough. That's enough. Oh, and I was thinking the other day, it's like this whole dog situation has actually worked out perfectly too. Because, okay, I talked about how I had these couple little situations for my income to help a little bit, right? So I had my aunt's dog for 10 days, and I think I have these guys for about 10 days, and there's a little overlap in there. But it's like I can't do my videos outside or in the car like I was doing before. I mean, I could do them in the car, but I don't want to leave the car running the whole time. My car's not really trustworthy, so it's not really ideal, but mainly Taz was also very chatty in the back seat there at the end. But it's too cold to do them outside also. So then these two job situations come up, and it happens to be like the coldest time of the season so far. And, it's given me a space outside of the house to do the videos, right? So I was able to do some videos over at my aunt's house, although I did not take advantage enough of that situation because that was the perfect location for that because she had two cats that could care less, and then the corgi would fall asleep whenever. Or while I was doing the video. And these guys, they're happy I'm here and they get attention during it still, but still a little fussy and whiny. I don't know what's going on with that. Probably not enough playtime. But we will do that before I go. No worries. But yeah, it's like I had some time over at my aunt's house where I got to do some, and then I had the time here. And it's been really helpful here, even though the dogs don't love it. Yeah, it's all right. But yeah, it's given me the opportunity to be able to do some videos outside of the house when it's really freaking cold and not really good to do elsewhere, right? Part of that one I discovered yesterday, she does this whistle whine when she's sleeping too, and she's laying her head down, so I don't know if she's still doing it just because she's up. Now she's up. Probably because her sister has the toy that she had. Oh, and some weird sniff action. But yeah, it's like I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to do much of this, and then it's actually lined up really well, right? And it just goes along with trusting that I'm always where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be there, and everything's always working out for me and all this fun stuff. And I mean, who knows on the Sam's trip later or whatever, but good chance I won't have to. Still a chance I will, but we're just flowing, right? Go with the flow. And see where that takes us. And so far, it's working out okay. Still need to go get my elephant thing from Kokomo. I was thinking, I don't want to do that on a day that's hella cold. If I was thinking that if I did it before my brother's family's back, then I could take his dogs with me, but it's like, could, but also I kind of prefer to take mine with me, so I think I'll just wait until after they get back anyway. And preferably when we can have a window cracked or something so Ziva can sniff. Well, so they all can sniff, but Ziva's really good about her sniffing. But also not so hot that I can't leave them in the car while I go get the hamburger, right? Or, well, it's this coterie place. They got really good food. Been there 3 times, I think. And hey, four's one of my numbers, so why not leave it off at 4? Not like there's no chance I'll ever end up back there. There's chair's greasy and I just touched it. Gross. Yeah. I don't really have a whole lot that I'm thinking much about today, I guess. There's been some more. My music's following me. I don't know if I talked about that. When my grandfather was in the nursing home / rehab place, there was a day, I think the first day that I went over there to visit, my aunt wanted to go down to the cafeteria or the dining room because they had a fountain drink machine and she wanted to get something, right? So we go down there and we walk in this. Okay, first off, I think that day I took my mom and my grandma and my aunt over there with me. They'd already been there before, but since he was at the nursing home, they weren't staying there. My mom was living at the hospital with him anytime he went there, but the nursing home, he was on his own. Mainly because, the staff really liked him and spent a lot of time checking on him, and, he had made a couple friends over there in the time he was there. But on the way over, so there are these songs that keep coming up, especially these days, but that have always been in my life like a big, I've always had this draw to these songs. And one of them, and of course, it's been amplified even more, since this whole twin flame thing's been going on. Since that's always been going on, that's basically my life. I just didn't understand it until more recently, right? Putting the pieces together when I came to 40, started putting the pieces together. Yeah. That's a big thing. This is definitely the case. But these songs, I've always been there and I've always loved them. And one of them, of course, since I knew about the twin flame journey and they were even more recurring for me in that time frame, I'm driving my mom, my grandma, and my aunt over to this nursing home this one day, and we dropped Gracie off at school and then left from there. And when we were going down the road, Starship's Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now came on, and that's one of the biggest ones. I've always loved that song, and now I'm realizing there's more to it even. And yeah, so that was on, and then we got to the nursing home, and my aunt was talking about the fountain beverages in the dining room. So we went down there, and they were playing Berlin's Take My Breath Away. And it's like, It's like both of those. It's like they got my attention loud and clear because, of course, I was still working on the whole boundary thing with the family and whatnot. But it's been a back and forth, and there's a lot of navigating to the whole situation, right? And basically, since I realized that, my mom is basically looking for any opportunity to get me back into her way of being, and now I can just, speak it here, and then it's like the universe is taking care of it elsewhere. It's like, oh, all I got to do is speak to it, and that's helpful. I like that. So yeah. The damn toy again. I got a basset over here by me though. Yesterday when I went to leave, she was just like shaking up the storm. It's like, what is going on with that? I wasn't sure if she was like afraid of my my little beanie thing that I had on because it was cold outside. I don't think that was it. But she just started shaking. It's like, I don't know what this is about, but I think I need to spend more time with this dog, right? I think she just needs more quality pets while she's here, or while I'm here. Because last night when I came back, of course I wasn't doing a video, so that wasn't a distraction from her attention either. But I sat down on the chair with her, and she like laid curled up next to my legs, and I think that's kind of a big part of it. She just needs more cuddles. Oh, dude, those nails, man. I need to help my brother with his dog's nails because they need some work. Even better if they just take them to the groomer and get it done. Usually they do that, but it's been a minute. Yeah. Tomorrow's 2/22, which is the Gidge's birthday. February is a big birthday month for dogs, apparently, because I think Buttercup's was the 11th, Daisy's was the 9th, and then Gidge is the 22nd. And interestingly enough, my cousin's dog was 2/22/22. So, and the clock was, or the timer was at 22 when I said that. Yeah. One of my aunts got my grandma this little calendar thing that you can have little tabs for everybody who has a birthday in that month. And I guess there were a bunch of these things, and so all the dogs got mentioned on my grandma's little calendar thing. I mean, that never would have been a thing for my grandpa. My aunt would have done it anyway, but he didn't give a shit about my dogs. So, he liked the little one next door, the two different ones she had. But yeah, he was kind of an ass on the rest of them. Of course, there's a big difference between one dog coming over and three, but I think on like 3 occasions the current pack made it over there, but it wasn't very much, and usually it's just one at a time. Her lips dangling at me. Yeah. And this one's back. Oh, I was so afraid that you weren't going to get back over here. Well, yeah, I don't think I have a whole lot else to talk about today. So maybe I'll just wrap it up again. So that's the whole point of a vlog anyway, right? Whatever BS I feel like throwing out there. Yeah. And I don't know that I have a whole lot today. I got my little bit from earlier. That was the biggest piece, I think. Maybe spend a little more focused time with these kids before I go. and it's not going to hurt my feelings if I don't go to Sam's Club. It really won't. If I don't, I'm going to be cleaning Birdcage, getting it ready to go, and cleaning all the shit underneath it and figuring out what I can just throw in the trash and whatnot. Because there's been a few things that it's like, I pulled a couple toys out of there that just got like so much bird poop on them because one was right under where Buddha perches for when he's going to bed. So it's like, it's just been collecting. It's like, you know what? That's just going in the trash. I don't even care. I'm not putting forth the effort to scrub that at this point in time. And yeah. We are digging at the carpet and at my arm. Stop it. You don't need to dig the carpet. What? Stop. 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 Yeah, maybe we just need some attention. There we go. That's better. And you're belching at me again. I don't know. Well, I guess I will wrap it up because I really I'm drawing a blank at this point. Usually it's like as soon as I shut the video off, then I have, oh, I should have said that. And it's like, too late. Not going back into it either. Got an 1.5-hour video and adding in something else. Nah. Plus I don't know how to do that anyway. So yeah, no splicing here. Keep things as simple as I can because it's me, myself, and I working on this task. So yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna call it. So as always, I appreciate you. Until the next time. See ya.